Hey there. I am so glad that you were able to come today on the meeting place. And if you're there, let me know you're here, there, where you're from, your name. And if you have been here before, say hashtag, I guess, OG. And if you're a newbie, do hashtag newbie. Now, I have to come up with my own soon, but right now, that's all I can think about. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to the meeting place this day. What is it? October 17th, and it is a beautiful day. So, I want to just jump right into our subject today because I hate keeping you long because I know how valuable your time is. So I start by saying I'm Michelle O'Neill and I am your purposeful living coach and boundary strategist, and I mentor successful, high achieving, heart centered women in creating the life that shows their unique blueprint and who they are so that they can show up purposeful in life. And I am so thrilled to be here with you today on the meeting place. Now, I feel like I've done this subject before. I know I've talked about it before, but you know how in life when you deal with things and it keeps coming up again and again and again? Well, that tells me that there has to be some lesson that we're not learning. And not only do I see it come up again and again in my life, I see people asking that same question again, you know. And so I want to start by saying, you know, everybody don't want your help. Now, I could say it correctly. Let me say it correct. Everybody doesn't want your help. But if I was talking to you like I am right now, everybody don't want your help. And so I want you to know that even though it is good intentions, and that's what we're going to talk about today, one of the things we're going to talk about, it doesn't mean that you need to or have to give your help or your opinion. And so, do you find yourself always jumping to help or fix other people's troubles? And if you have, let me know in the comments. Do the raise your hand because I can raise my hand right now, or whatever it is to let me know that's you. Say, it's me. Hashtag it's me. But let me know, are you one of those people that feel that you always have to fix things for other people or help other people? Now, there are usually like three reasons that I want to talk about, that reasons that we do it. And the number one is good intentions. So we have good intentions. We really, really, really want to help someone because we can see something that they can't see. But the problem is, a lot of times when we're doing that, we're coming from our perspective because everything in our life is seen through our lens and our experiences. And so it doesn't necessarily equate to someone else's problem or someone else's life or how this plays in their life. And so we have to sometimes step back and say, is this me? Am I feeling this way because this is what happened in my life? Or can I genuinely help someone? And then again, they may not want your help. So ask, and I will say that again and again today. Ask, is your help wanted? And another thing is, you could have a hidden motive. A lot of times we do things because it's we want to be liked or we want something from that person. And it's hidden because a lot of times we don't even want to believe that for ourselves. We don't want to believe that really that's why we're doing what we're doing. So again, look at your hidden motivation. What's pushing you to help all the time or help this person all the time? And then it requires total honesty when we're dealing with our good intentions. Is we have to ask ourselves these questions. Why am I helping them? Why am I so bent on helping them do this, even when I can see and I realize that it's not even something that they really want? Why am I pushing my opinion on them? And so make sure that you ask yourself that. And let me check, make sure if you're watching, let me know that you are watching. If so I know that you can hear me and everything is working fine. Now, the second thing is, a lot of times, and we see this a lot with our children, with those significant others in our life, is protection. And so the reason we want to jump in and help someone is because we want to keep them out of harm's way. We see that they're getting ready to hit a bump, or they're getting ready to deal with some troubles that, if they just listen to us, if they just heard what we had to say, they wouldn't have to go through that. And I've shared with you before, the story of the stove. If I would have just listened at a child, I wouldn't have touched it and burned myself. So the thing is, a lot of times that's our attentions, that we want to keep them out of harm's way. But you know what? Some lessons just have to be learned on their own. And some people just got to find out on their own. So you have to let that go. If they don't want your help, let that go. And then another thing is, a lot of times we don't want them to experience emotional pain. And this comes a lot with our friends, like when your girlfriend is dealing with a guy that you know is just the pits, and you want to give her advice and help her and keep her from going down that road that you know how it will end up. Well, more than not, she's going to turn on you if you give your advice or help. So a lot of times you have to be very conscious of when to give help, and if it's the right time, or are they willing to listen to what you have to say. And some people have to experience this pain. This helps them grow. This helps them deal with it when they come up with it in the future, because they learn from their mistakes and the things that they deal with. And then sometimes we also want to protect them, but we're protecting them from our own fears. So what do I mean by that? When we see a certain situation, we are dealing with a fear that we experienced in the past. Everybody doesn't have the same fears that we have. Everybody doesn't have the same experience we have. So although something may be a fear to you, does not mean it's a fear to the person that you're trying to protect. So be careful about talking about the thing or helping when your help isn't needed. And then the third reason a lot of us jump in and help is pure manipulation. We have expectations for that person's life and a desired outcome for them. And we do this a lot with our children when we see them doing something, and we know, oh, I want you to not deal with this, or you want to go to college, I want you to go to college, or I want you to become this doctor, or I want you to do this. And so you start manipulating them or giving them help to help them do this, fill out all their college applications so they can get into college. Did you ever ask, do you want to go to college? Is this the college you want to go to? What do you want to do when you grow up? Do you have an idea? So these are questions that we can ask, and so we know ourselves if it is manipulation that we're using or we're doing. And then also you want to know, is it because you feel it's what's best? Well, what's best for you is not necessarily best for them. And this one was a hard one for me. As a mom, I am always wanting to step in for my daughter to keep her from dealing with things that I know, those roadblocks or those bumping into the wall that I see coming before her, because I watch what she's doing and I'm like, oh no, I gotta stop her. But you know what? They're going to do what they want to do regardless of what you tell them. And a lot of times they hear you, but they want to do it anyway. One of the first things I remember about my daughter is is I told her not to wrap herself up into the drapes that we had in our home. And she would do it anyway. And I'd pull her away from it and I tap her little legs. And she'd look at me and she'd cry and she'd go back and do it anyway. And so one day I grabbed her and I said, "Why are you doing that? Don't you know?" Mommy said, "No. Don't you know that you're going to get a little spanking?" She said, "Mm-hmm." I said, "Well, why do you keep doing it?" And you know what she said to me? She said, "Because I want to." So her desire outweighed any lessons, any help, any trying to keep her from pain that I could. And you have to realize that sometimes our kids just need to learn on their own. Sometimes our husband, our significant other, our girlfriend, those our co-workers, they just have to find out the consequences of their actions on their own. And they don't want your help, regardless of the reason. Whether it's good intentions, whether it's because you want to protect them from something, or whether it's manipulation, they don't want your help. So I got a question for you. Which one of those did you find yourself doing more of as you've grown up, as you've learned life? Was it because of manipulation, protection, or just good intentions? And I'm not saying anyone is good or bad in and of themselves, but I want you to be aware of why you always want to jump in and help. And so there are particular drawbacks, actual drawbacks of always jumping in and helping. And I meant to say that last question that I asked you. I asked you, which one do you find yourself doing more of? Let me know. Is it manipulation? Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the DM. Is it manipulation? Is it good intentions? Or is it for protection of them? Which are you most operating under? And there are drawbacks to actually always jumping in for others. And if you're giving me comments, for some reason, I'm not seeing any comments right now. So if you make a comment and you let me know, I will reply to you after this. But if you have something to say, I would love to see your comments, whether I can see them now or not. So there are actually drawbacks to always stepping in and helping people, especially when they don't want help. We don't allow them to actually learn how to deal with the falls and the disappointments and the things that they deal with in life. And so how are they going to grow? How are your children going to learn to deal with conflict and pushback from others if we don't let them? How are your coworkers going to know the consequences of their action when they don't turn a report in on time, or they're always relying on someone else, or they're never at their desk taking care of work, or they don't reply to their emails until the end of the day and there was something important there that they need to take care of? But because they're not taking on that responsibility and you're always checking behind them or reminding them, you're setting them up for failure. Because what happens when you're not there? So we have to learn to step back. And the biggest thing of all, when you don't allow them to take responsibility of their actions, when you don't allow them to grow, we are stripping them of their power. Let them step into their power, into who they are. Don't strip them of that. And we strip them, as I just said, of their responsibility. We have to take ownership for our actions and take responsibility for our actions. And if you're that helicopter mom, if you're that person that always step in, You know, one of the things I really love, and I talk about my daughter a lot because we talk every day, but one of the things I love is she tells me about her interaction with her two older children and how she always asks. They'll tell her and they'll share with her something that they're going through, or some disappointment that they deal with, or something that frustrates them. And before she steps in, she says, do you want me to call the school, or do you want to say something to? I want to say something, but do you want me to say something? And she waits for their answer. And more times than not, they said, I wanted your opinion and I'm glad you said that, because I was wondering, was I crazy, or was I thinking the right thing, or was I doing the right thing? But mom, let me handle it. And then when they do need her help, they'll step back and say, yeah, I need you to make that call for me, or I need you to say something. But she asked, and she's smart enough to know to step back when she needs to. I wish I could learn that well, but that's a good thing. And I love watching her. So I've given you some examples of how it shows up in our relationships, in our workplace. I've showed you with our kids. I've showed you with our significant other, when you're always stepping in and not letting them help you or take care of the things they need to take care of. And your friends. Look back the next time that you want to jump in and help someone. I want you to just take a step back and ask. Ask them if they want your help. Do they just want you to listen? Or maybe do they just want your opinion? And that it takes no action on your part. But we have to learn in life that sometimes it's time to step back and pass the baton. We've taken care of what we need to take care of. And sometimes we just want to pass that baton on and let that person run their own race and be the amazing star that they are. And remember, for your help, everyone isn't always ready to hear what you have to say, or to deal with the consequences on the other side of what your help brings about. They have to process through it and see if they're ready. So tell me, did this episode resonate with you? If it had, let me know in the comments. And if you'd like a reminder of each episode at the meeting place, go ahead and hit subscribe, or the little button at the top of this post, the little bell, at the top of this post, or just type in the comments, remind me, so I can make sure you get a reminder on the next and every preceding episode of the meeting place. I'd love to hear what it is that you'd like me to specifically talk about next time. How I can help you walk that journey of living a purposeful life. Until next time, take care, and thank you for being here with me in conversation on the meeting place. Bye-bye.